what's going on? It's your boy Town. So yeah, we about to do it live, you know, live in this piece. So um, the particular subjects we're going to we're going to talk about uh, Richardson Hitchens' performance, his controversial win over Lemus. Um, of course, we're going to talk about Carissa Shields and Alicia Baumgardner. Why I think what transpired is a good first step in trying to get this fight made. Somehow they can find some common ground or at least bring notoriety to women's boxing. As you guys know, controversy sells. Um, it didn't get too ratchet, and I think these things have to happen. It is what it is. As long as they don't get too classless and you know and get taken to the gutter like what you see in a lot of instances, in particularly with our community, men and women from our community taking it to the gutter. But a lot of people are talking about Carissa Shields' controversial comments towards Alicia Baumgardner, calling her broke, saying that she looks better than her, and all this kind of stuff. Even though Alicia Baumgardner said it first, I don't think we want to take it to a beauty contest because I don't want it to go that direction because at the end of the day, they are both attractive black women, but then it's going to get to the point this could turn into a colorism thing, the light skinned black lady versus the dark skinned black woman. So I don't want it to go that direction. I don't want it to go that direction, but it looked like it's going to be headed towards that direction because somebody's going to go there eventually. Those videos will start getting made pretty soon by probably people that don't even really cover boxing, but I expect it to happen because it is what it is because black people like being involved in this kind of stuff, involving a stuff in this kind of stuff, and basically airing this kind of stuff out for people to talk about. People that don't even look like us. I think it's appalling when some white motherfucker or some Asian dude trying to talk about colorism or some non-black talking about that type of subject matter because technically it doesn't pertain to you and it's none of your damn business. And you should keep your unwanted opinion. You can't speak on stuff like that. But some of them will try. Because, I had to check somebody at work when he tried to make that preference to Michael Jackson. I had to let him know, hey, man, you ain't part of the discussion. He got mad, but asked me, do I give a damn? Okay, so some people are coming for David Benavidez because David Benavidez issued I guess it was, I guess it was something that he put on X or something or one of his social media accounts. Because I still don't be on social media like that, but I have a Instagram. I have an Instagram, so you know I be forgetting to link it to my channel sometimes. But I have an Instagram, so you know I'm not active on it as other people would be, but I have one just for other intensive business purposes, to try to set up interviews with other people. But, with that being said, um, I just think David Benavidez, I just think you have this thing where you have diehard fans of one particular guy. Canelo has diehard fans just like Errol Spence has diehard delusional remedial fans that believe whatever pertains to Errol Spence is the gospel, just like PBC have loyalists who's gonna ride or die with PBC no matter what, no matter how bad they treat other people, just like they were trying to uh, play Terrence Crawford again, trying to give him the shaft. And now all of a sudden stuff is shut down because it appears that Turkey Al-Shiki is going to uh, make waves by bringing fights to the States and to the UK. So he's taking this promotional stuff serious. And he got a lot of money to play with. And at the end of the day, it's going to be more cost effective to do other events like in the States and in the UK. Because I keep trying to tell you, they're not going to keep letting the dude like fork out billions of dollars to put together events like that and not, at least get a return. So we gonna see what's up. We gonna see what's up. I wish I could talk to Turkey Al Sheikh because I got some ideas, but nevertheless, let's get back to David Benavides. So David Benavides was a little intoxicated. He said he was intoxicated, and he did an interview with Chris Metz. I didn't know what people were talking about until Goodfellas Sports TV sent me the footage. He had sent me the footage, and it was obvious that Benavides had something to drink. But one thing that bothers me, it's amazing how people love to psychoanalyze and play psychiatrist when it comes to other people, but then they have more issues going on in their household than David Benavides ever could have. So what, he had something to drink. Big deal. I mean, he's human. I mean, why did everybody act like everybody is supposed to be Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and these people have a life outside of their prospective entertainment field. Dave Benavides is a 26, 27-year-old man. So what, he had a couple of drinks. It's not like now if they was doing an interview, Chris Mannix was doing an interview with David Benavides, him being intoxicated and he got in the car and started to drive, yeah, I'd have a problem with that. David Benavides had people around him. His wife was there, his family was there. He'll be fine. So what? He had something to drink. What about all the times Errol Spence did interviews and you could tell he had something to drink? What about all the times Charlos had something to drink and people didn't say nothing? So I mean, just don't start picking on David Benavides, man. Nobody don't want to hear that kind of stuff. You got to have the same energy, man. And that's just real talk, man. So what? He had a couple of drinks. People, pick and choose who they want to come after. At the end of the day, last time I checked, if you are over the age of 21, you are allowed to legally drink. He was in Las Vegas. He was having some fun. Maybe Chris Mannix shouldn't have even attempted to do the interview. Chris Mannix has been around long enough, and he does this on a regular basis to where he should have known that dude was in no, the right state of mind to basically try to give an interview. And that's just real talk. Now, I'm not trying to say Chris Mannix set him up or nothing like that, but I think Chris Mannix should have used better judgment himself. I have been around fighters who have came to events and they have had a little something, something to drink and all that kind of stuff. But to sit up here and try to enhance this and make it look like this is the worst thing you ever saw in your life, stop the bullshit, please. Stop it. Okay, please stop it. You know, I just got to say this. This is just really nerve wracking for people to just like try to take something and run with it. The dude had something to drink. He was intoxicated. I mean, how many times have David Benavides like made himself available to the media? Okay, he just got caught in a bad moment. Now we know David Benavides has had some issues outside of boxing, but him having a little too much to drink is the least of his problems and other people's problems. Like I said before, y'all act like the man did the interview like behind the wheel of a car. Like I said, had he done an interview and he was about to drive or something like that, yeah, I would have a big problem. But he's sitting down at a damn boxing event. Y'all do know they serve alcohol at boxing events, right? Y'all do know that, right? Y'all ain't never been to a sport event. You do know they serve alcohol, right? You do know they serve beers. You do know they serve margaritas. You do know you can get a drink. So now all of a sudden, David Benavides is supposed to conduct himself like some kind of 6-year-old boy. Like, man, just stop it. Just stop it. Y'all taking this way too far. Oh my God, David Benavides was intoxicated. He had some. Yeah, he was sitting down. He was at a sporting event. They serve alcohol at sporting events. Get over it. I don't know why people be trying to, you know what I'm saying, sensationalize these type of things. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He was intoxicated. He was slurring his words. He was possibly drunk. Like, how long they been serving alcohol? Isn't a major sponsor of professional sports like Budweiser, Anheuser Busch, or whatever, Coors? Don't they sponsor Major League Baseball? Don't they sponsor the NBA? Don't they sponsor the NFL? So okay, now, so let me get this straight. And a lot of these venues have sponsors, or they have partnerships where they have distribution deals where they get their alcohol from one specific, or beer from one specific company. So now all of a sudden, this isn't normal. Stop it, y'all. Y'all sound ridiculous. And don't give me that role model stuff. Who said Dave Benavides was a role model? We all know in this day and age, it's impossible for a, a athlete or just anybody that's in the celebrity limelight to be some kind of role model, because one, their life is just not private. No matter how much they try to keep their life private with all this technology, even if you try, it's next to impossible to try to live a low profile, you know, because if you don't tell it, somebody that you know gonna tell you business. So whatever. All right, so Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens had a very, I ain't gonna say very controversial win. It was a controversial win. Most people thought that his opponent, Lima, should have got the nod, or best case scenario, it should have been a draw. But one of the judges had to fight by wide margin in favor of Hitchens, like 117 to 111, which means he thought that Hitchens won 9 rounds to 3 in a 12 round bout. Um, I'm gonna have to rewatch the fight again and see that I missed something. But from my assessment, I had it either a draw or Lemus winning, maybe 7 rounds to 5. I would have to see why they thought Hitchens won the fight, but there was a couple of swing rounds why I can understand it would have been a draw, because there were moments of the fight where Lemus looked like he was about to get blew out. So Hitchens fought in good, periods of the fight where he would let his hands go. But I think why you have the controversy, because he was hurt very bad, like in the 8th round, and it looked like he was a couple of punches away from getting stopped. But he managed to stay on his feet. He managed to stay on his feet. He didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt. To the point to where he got dropped, but you could tell he was buzzed. So, dude had a great eighth round, and I think that's might be where people thought that was a difference maker in the fight. And I think, and he hurt Hitchison. I mean, excuse me, he hurt Hitchens early in the fight as well. I can't remember what round it was, but I was watching the fight, so he cracked him and buzzed him a couple of times. I don't know if it was the second or the third, but or the fourth, but he hurt him a couple of times. But the 8th round was like really the difference, where it was very visible that Hitchens was hurt and he couldn't disguise it. But then Hitchens did some good work too, where he froze Lemus a couple of times with some shots, with some body shots, and then a couple of uppercuts, and then some short hooks. So maybe that might be what the judges were looking at, which might have helped them, give Hitchens a unanimous decision. Me myself, I would have to watch it again, but I thought best case scenario it might have been a draw. I would have been okay with a draw, but I thought Lemus probably, if I had to pick a winner, I probably would have gave it to Lemus, probably maybe 7 rounds to 5. But this ain't the worst decision that I ever saw. Trust me, I've seen worse, but I've seen quite a few fights like that. And sometimes And I know people are talking about holding and all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm gonna say this once again. It's at the, you know, it is at the referee's discretion. He didn't do nothing. He allowed it to happen. So Hitchens kept doing it. And I don't think he was holding like everybody was making it out to be, you know, because I thought Devin Alexander, when he fought Marcos Maidana, he was holding Marcos Maidana way more than Hitchens. Because if Hitchens was extensively holding throughout the fight, he wouldn't have had the chance to unleash the offensive display, because when he unleashed his offense, at times it looked very good. I just think he wasn't fluent enough, because I think he was bothered by Lehman swarming him at times. This is some things that he need to work on, because Lemus was coming in reckless at times, and I think if Hitchens had threw more hooks, leads, he might have would have been able to land something that could have like planted, Lemus on the ground, or at least. But that's some things he need to work on. Now, where is Hitchens at as far as the other, the other guys go, the Tiafimo Lopez and those Matias and all those guys? He needs work. He needs work. He has things that can be fixed. It's not like, oh, he's not elite and he can't make improvement. There's always room for improvement. There's things he got to realize that he didn't do. He need to look at the tape, and he need to look at the tape with his team, and they need to really be honest with each other and really assess the fight. Because I'll tell him what he did wrong. I'll watch tape with him. I'll tell him exactly what he did wrong. One thing about those dudes, when you fight those relentless, come forward Hispanic fighters, you got to be ready for a dog fight. That's why guys like Pitbull give, those type of fighters trouble, because if you can't hurt them, they just gonna keep coming. But after a while, if you keep hitting them, they gonna start backing up. It don't matter whether they got a solid chin or not. Canelo got a good chin, but Canelo ain't gonna keep coming in there taking shots. It doesn't matter how hard a dude doesn't hit. If you keep hitting the dude with the same shot, eventually it's gonna take toll on him eventually. But that's what I think. Sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you got to be willing to the fight instead of box. It come a time where you ain't gonna be able to win a fight just on boxing. You just gonna have to win a fight like fighting. And that's the difference sometimes that happen with some of these black boxers. Sometimes they're not equipped to fight. They learn to box at the end of the day. See, that was the difference between Hagler, even Sugar Ray Leonard, and Hearns. Those dudes, okay, if boxing wasn't working for them, they was willing to fight. Sugar Ray Leonard could fight if it came to be. A lot of times Sugar Ray Leonard preferred finesse and boxing and looking pretty while doing it. Oh, Thomas Hearns, he was going in there with bad attention. Hagler was going in there with bad attention. Hagler could box, but when it came down to it, if he felt like, hey, I got to get dirty, he'd get dirty. And I think that's what's lacking with these new age fighters. You've seen that with Shakur Stevenson, his last performance, and you saw it last night with Hitchens. I've seen Devin Haney have dog in him where he's willing, and where a lot of people got on him. Um, he beat Linares because he was willing to fight. Same thing with JoJo Diaz. And if it come down to it, if he feel like he gonna have to slug it out with Ryan Garcia in periods of the fight, he'll do it. That's the difference. Devin Haney is built like that, and that's what makes you an all-around fighter. And I think Floyd had that problem too. But a lot of people, that's the problem. People saw that in Floyd. Yeah, Floyd could box. Floyd was an excellent boxer, but Floyd could fight when he wanted to. Because Miguel Cotto, he had to fight Miguel Cotto to win. Maidana, he had to fight Maidana in that second fight to win. And that's the difference. That's the difference, you know. Wait a minute. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of uh, modern day fighters are missing. Some of these, especially some of these brothers, and I hate to say it, and I know people gonna be mad at me. They're gonna be somebody that's gonna come down on me, but I'm just telling the truth. They're just gonna come a time where you just gonna have to fight. And Tank, we know Tank is capable of fighting when boxing ain't working for him. You know, sometimes you just got to dig deep. You know, Mike Tyson, he was a fighter. So it is a difference between being a boxer and a fighter. And I think Hitchens relied too much on just trying to box. I think if he would have took more chances, yeah, he would have put himself in a position to be more vulnerable. But at the same time, well, look what happened. Now he ends up like winning the fight, and people think he didn't deserve to win the fight. So now what? You might as well have took more chances. Listen, I think to a certain degree, we're gonna have to get out of this mode where losing a fight is the end of the world for you. I found myself being caught up in that kind of stuff, and you know, I'm trying to shy away from that. I want to get out of that, but I'm just telling the truth by what I observed, and it's just something that got to be talked about. I'm not putting down Hitchens, but I'm just telling you what I thought went wrong with him. So there you have it. But then, all right, so let's get back to Alicia Baumgartner and Carissa Shields. That is a fight where it's drawing interest. The problem is, like I said, it's the common ground with them trying to find weight that's comfortable enough for both of them. Carissa Shields says she's not going no lower than 154. Maybe if they could do maybe 150 on the dot, or maybe they could do 150 on the dot. But I would like to see that fight. But there is such a huge, weight gap in between them to where it may be next to impossible to get that fight made. I would like to see it. I think it would do very well. I think it would create a buzz because these two women are creating a buzz for themselves. It's almost like a rivalry. And I would like to see it. But that weight seems to be the X factor in this fight. It seems to be, basically, it seems to be the problem. This is where they reach a stalemate at, basically, because they can't find any common ground with the weight. And when you can't find common ground with the weight, because that seemed to be the biggest hurdle, is them trying to find weight that's suitable enough for both of them. Me myself, I would suggest that, okay, Baumgartner could come in at maybe 148, and Carissa Shields could at least make weight at 150, and then she could rehydrate to however much she want. But like I said before, this fight would do some decent numbers based off the fact that they don't like each other, and there is a full-fledged like grudge between these two women. And then based off the fact what was said yesterday made it even worse with Clarissa Shields talking about her butt is bigger than that came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere. Could you imagine if I made a video talking about that, comparing those two women's butts together? They would be saying, oh man, they would be saying I'm objectifying, I'm a misogynist. They would be, all kind of stuff would be getting directed towards my way, a whole bunch of unwarranted and unwanted attention if I was to do that. But because it's Carissa Shields, she could say, and this is what I'll be trying to tell you, women can get away with a lot more than men can when it pertains to stuff like this. But I did think it was funny, but I was kind of shocked because it came out of nowhere. She said my butt is bigger than hers. I was like, what? I was like, damn. I mean, she's telling the truth. I look, now who looks the best? That's debatable. That's very debatable. That really comes down to what you into and what you like. So that's very debatable. That is highly debatable about who looks the best. But I've had issues with Carissa Shields. Just some of the stuff she just be saying, just some of the outlandish stuff that she be saying about um she can beat up a man and she can all this stuff. She could beat Keith Thurman. All right, I'm gonna say this much as I get ready to um close out this video. I don't know if you know. This is where Ryan Garcia, like I said, um, he contradicts himself and he comes across. This dude is supposed to be all that's right, talking about this stuff with kids and making these accusations towards Devin Haney and all this stuff. But I got some videos where I'm gonna discuss that, and I'm gonna completely expose 50 Cent for the fraud that he is. His remedial fans are coming from me, but I'm just finna basically show you that 50 Cent is an inconsistent, fake, cornball. He a fake tough guy. So, just stay tuned for that. Just stay tuned for that video. But in case you guys don't know, Golden Boy, a couple of days ago, I don't know whether, I guess they had some kind of card and they basically had a genetically born woman that transitioned into a man, basically fight a man, and that genetically born woman, from what the report said, got knocked out in the first round. Now, I don't want to dive deep into that because you can't have an objective and productive conversation without it turning turning in somebody turning it into hate speech, or you're anti this, you're anti that. But that happened. I didn't really want to make a full-fledged video about it because those type of videos attract certain type of people, and I just don't want them harassing me, you know. But yeah, so I don't like Carissa Shields' chances versus Keith Thurman or Triple G. It may end very bad for her, but that video is another discussion on another day, because now we really have to uh, talk about this and basically display our concerns for where sports is going. Um, it's just too much agenda pushing. And I have to say this, ain't nothing wrong with being separate but equal, or being different, as long as you have the same resources as everybody else have, and your government owes it to you to really provide the same type of resources and really give you equal rights. But they fixated on helping people that ain't from here. But I don't want to make this about the dimmer dummies. But anyway, just wanted to give my take on the situation. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is going home. No ring. So all these people that rally behind her, hoping she get to the national championship and win, fails again. They failed again. But yeah, appreciate that, man. But you know, well, I'm just telling the truth about, I just was telling the truth about David Benavides. I mean, stop acting like these dudes supposed to be Boy Scouts and stuff. To me, David Benavides, I understand him apologizing for, you know, being intoxicated while trying to do an interview. But then sometimes, man, these guys, they just need to kind of like back off of people, because at the end of the day, Benavides is not a matchroom fighter. He's not a matchroom fighter. He's not a DAZN fighter, so he is not obligated to do interviews. Now we give him credit because he's nice enough to give the media access. And that's what I like about David Benavides. He gives you access. So people using this as an opportunity to attack the dude for basically being a human being and being a man, something is seriously wrong about your morals and your moral compass, because no telling what you doing behind closed doors. Stop acting like this is abnormal. They serve alcohol at sporting events. They've been doing it pretty much forever. So all of a sudden, a man decides to indulge. It's not like David Benavides is in camp right now. Now, they seem to be some discrepancies about what fight date is supposed to be the date for Tank and David Benavides. David Benavides said June 22nd, but I'm hearing it's supposed to be June 15th. Now, some people that I know, they did some research. They saying, well, if the fight is in Houston, it won't be at the Toyota Center, because they saying that Megan Thee Stallion is booked at the Toyota Center. Unless Tank is going to fight at another venue, unless he's going to fight at the ballpark where the Houston Astros, play at, or he's going to fight at the stadium where the Houston Texas is at. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of that may be happening. But the dates seem to be mixed up, because I'm hearing June 15th, and then you got David Benavides saying the 22nd. Michael Benson reported the 22nd, and that's why I reported the 22nd. But now it looked like it could be the 15th. So I'm going to do more research. I'm going to make some phone calls, and I'm going to see exactly what's going on. But anyway, appreciate you guys. It's your boy Tam. I'm out.